Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 that we're reviewing together because Chapter 3 it talks about proportional relationships, Chapter 4 talks about non-proportional relationships, but you can use all the same ideas for non-proportional relationships and apply them to proportional relationships. So we're going to focus on Chapter 4, non-proportional relationships. And the first thing that we want to do, the first problem that we're going to work out is this one. We have y equals 3x plus 2, and we want to fill out this table. And if you remember, x is our independent variable. That's the one that we get to choose what the value is. Y is our dependent variable, and it's called a dependent variable because it depends on what the x value is. And so if I'm going to fill out this table, and you should try this before you watch the solution and see if your answer matches mine. If I'm going to fill out this table, I'm going to take these numbers that are in the x value, in the x row, and I'm going to plug them in to this equation for x. So if I were to do that, then I would have y equals 3 times negative 1 plus 2, y equals 3 times 0 plus 2, y equals 3 times 1 plus 2, y equals 3 times 2 plus 2, and y equals 3 times 3 plus 2. And if you remember, the 3 is called our slope, and this last plus 2, that is our y-intercept. So if we just start at the beginning, 3 times negative 1, that is a negative 3. Plus 2, negative 3 plus 2 gives me a negative 1. So when x is negative 1, y is also negative 1. When x is 0, that makes that pretty easy. This becomes a 0. This 2 stays, so we get y equals 2. And that is our, this is our intercept. So at x equals 0, y equals 2. At x equals 1, 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. At x equals 2, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8. And at 3 times 3 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11. Okay, the other thing you could have noticed is to get from negative 1 to 2, that's 3. To get from 2 to 5 is 3. To get from 5 to 8 is 3. And from 8 to 11 is 3. So you have that pattern, your slope, means every time it goes up 1, which is how far it was going up in the x, your y goes up 3. Okay, so that's how you would fill out that table. You just plug in the x values, and whatever that gives you, that's your y value that corresponds to it. Okay, for this next one, we want to graph the equation y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, and so when we're graphing, the first thing we want to do is we want to look at this negative 3 right here, or this minus 3. That's our y-intercept. That means that that's where we're going to start. And it is a minus 3, so we're going to start right here at negative 3. We're going to put a point right there. And then if we look at our slope we usually call slope m. Our slope is 2, which means for every time we go over 1, we're going to go up 2. Or we can go up 2 over 1. So negative 3, negative 2, negative 1 over 1. And then we're going to go up 2, 1, 2 over 1. We're going to go up 2, 1, 2 over 1. And if this were a perfect graph, and if I could draw straight lines, then that would be a straight line. But it'll be a straight line. And that's all there really is to graphing. If we wanted to go the other way and figure out the slope based off of the graph, we can make a little triangle. Okay, make a little triangle, and if we know what the length of this side right here is, that is a length of 2. And we know what the distance from here to here on the triangle is. That's a distance of 1. So our slope is 2 over 1. And our y-intercept is -3, so we'd have 2 over 1x minus 3. 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. Okay, so that's the first basics of chapter 4, and there's really not a lot else to go with it. I am going to do a couple more problems in another video, but if you can figure out how to get the equation from a table or a graph, and if you know how to fill out a table or sketch a graph, then you've got this chapter down. So if you want some more practice, just go ahead and watch the other video as well, and you should be good.